Updates potentially on just Troy Anderson, Darnell Mooney, AJ Terrell, and Storm Morton?
I don't have a lot of information on those guys yet. I got a medical meeting coming up here in a little bit. I probably have more after that. Be way more informative next week when we get back. But I have to go check on Storm, check on all those guys, obviously on our IR. Obviously you potentially could open up a couple of those windows coming up here shortly, after the 4 weeks are up. And then that's up, and then you open those things up. You still got those weeks that you can have kind of as buffers. So we'll get a feel where they're all at the company's medical meetings. I don't have a lot of information on it. Hoping that we can get AJ back, after this bye, another week of rest for him, and get a chance to get him out there. That's probably the one I do have a little bit more information on than the other guys.
Not Mooney. You don't know anything about Mooney yet?
I don't know anything about Mooney other than, we'll have to see from this week. Obviously, he left yesterday with the hamstring. So we'll see. I don't know how bad it was, but I don't think it's something too bad. But we'll get a check. I'll get a feel for it later.
Yeah, Coach, how did you evaluate the run defense during the film session? It looked like 3 big runs kind of skewed the number.
It was really one big run. I guess you count quarterback run too, right? Yeah, so really the one big run, the 48-yarder, is the one that can really crush it. You can never say except for in this game, but, if you can get rid of that run, you don't feel terrible about it, especially with a quarterback run game and, they play the wishbone style offense you played back in the day where they can really tilt that thing. So the quarterback run, being able to scamper out of there, created some yardage for him, and then obviously that one big run, we got to make that tackle in the box. Obviously they was able to get by David in that play and got by our young safety, but our young nickel made a heck of a play, running them down, giving us some grass to defend there. But those things happen in the game, and but you're really fired up about most of the stuff throughout the day if you can take away those except fors, and obviously you want to always look better at that.
Do you sense the 2 inside linebackers are kind of becoming, you see them flying around in different parts of the field, kind of the epicenter of operation?
They've been playing extremely well. Both of us, particularly Caden yesterday in the line of scrimmage, being able to go in the line of scrimmage, make some plays, off the ball. He's since I've known him, he's consistently wanted to be a better off the ball backer, and he's like really morphing into that. And then Divine has had an outstanding season so far. Behind the ball, being a presence in the pass defense, being a presence in, really tackling machine. They've done a great job. They've done a nice job in the middle of our defense. They've really holding us down really well.
How big of a proponent are you of making schematic, maybe even significant schematic changes during a bye week? This is an early one, I know, but
you always want to study yourself. You always want to go out there and be able to look at those things, and obviously you can add some things, you can take some things out, you can do better at some other things. So you never want to say you don't want to add anything, because always something that you want to add that you've been thinking about, you talked about over the last couple of weeks that you're like, hey, we won't put it in this week, but maybe do it during the bye. Some things you want to maybe explore a little bit and just talk about and think about. But it's definitely a chance to go back and look at everything that you've done from all 3 phases of the ball and find out what you can do better and what you can add to it, or what you can take out, what you don't like. So it's always a good time to look at those things and do those things. It don't really matter how early it is, but that's a nice 4-week sample of some things you can do better.
One of the big storylines for the Eagles last year was that after their bye, they made pretty significant changes to what they were doing.
They did.
Yeah. Is that something that you think happens around the league a lot? Is it maybe
if you find something that you want to do, last year they went from kind of getting disconnected up front and being able to get off the ball and do some different things up front. They looked a lot different at the end of the year than they did when they played us. That's something that coaches usually go back and can notice and look at on tape. But I think it's pretty normal to go out and do some of those type of things and come back with something different, new wrinkles, things of that nature. We did it last year too, on our defense with our pass rush. So being able to come back, have a different look, be able to get some things generated from the pass rush standpoint helped us a lot. And I'm sure we'll do the same things from both sides of the ball. All 3 sides of the ball, to get better.
That was actually my next question. So last year during the bye, what kind of, without going into too much detail, what kind of changes did you guys make? And it seemed like it was pretty effective because the pass rush did improve a lot after the bye.
Yeah, we just kind of went back and looked at the study of it all and how to get open and how to utilize, some of the guys that we did have. Like Caden was a big part of that, and how we wanted to utilize him, how we wanted to set him up. Obviously AK at the time, he was a part of that as well, and getting those guys going and trying to find ways and trying to find different things that we can get going that way. All of those guys up front being in different positions and trying to get those guys aligned to different things so we can dictate terms a little bit better. So that was a part of it on defense. Obviously that was a big part we wanted to do coming out the bye last year.
We kind of had an idea just through the summer about Find Diablo and just like kind of the impact that he was going to have on this team. But then through 4 weeks, I mean, like it's been showing itself on the field.
Yeah.
Like, what have you seen from him as a difference maker for this defense?
Super impressive. His pass defense has been elite. To be able to watch him get back into those windows in the passing in the middle of the field and really play with great length, great vision on the quarterback. I mean, he's probably knocked down 3 or 4 balls over the middle of the field. His vision back there and being able to move with the quarterback, deterring throws, take him away. Really giving that body presence, that underneath body presence that you get from really great linebackers. And he's shown that a bunch. You see it a lot from Fred Warner out in San Fran all these years, and to watch him be able to do it is kind of unique because of his length, his speed, his ability to cover grass. And then when the check down goes, it's not explosive. He's able to close grass and get people on the ground, with a lot of space. And that is a unique thing about him and his speed and his athleticism, his range, things of those nature. And he's been excellent. He's been an excellent addition in every way. Behind the ball, covering, as a pressure player. He's done some really good things for us.
What does it do for the flexibility of this defense?
Having those parts, those movable pieces that we talk about, whether it's Caden on line of scrimmage and going, or it's him on line of scrimmage and going, providing that juice and different type of things like that, it's been really good. And got to add Billy into that mix too. He's kind of a mini linebacker in himself. So having him have an ability to move and make some of those tackles and be in the fit, I think has been really nice for us. And then that allows Jesse to move around a little bit and get into the box. That allows, our young man back there to also be a part of it. So those movable pieces, those chess pieces are really, fun to have and fortunate for us.
The obvious goal going into last year's bye was improving the pass rush, as you've already talked about. Is there a clear-cut goal for this bye?
I think the pass rush, I don't know if it was a goal in last year's things. I think that was a theme of life around here, right? So for us, it's finishing. You want to go find ways to finish some of those sacks. I think we had 15 pressures yesterday, had 2 sacks. And we had the big 6-sack game, I believe, in Minnesota. You want to find ways to capitalize more of those opportunities because if you do those things, you can be really effective, on that way when you talk about on defense. And then, obviously on offense, it'd be about just continuing to let our identity come out. I think our identity came out in a major way yesterday when it came to running the football and then be able to get some of those throws off and play action pass. He was 76% passing and doing some of those things, some really good things. We got the long ball going, so to speak, yesterday. I think that was another part of it. So just really increasing those things and doing some of those different things that way. And then on special teams, it's let's keep growing. Let's keep getting better, right? Our field goal team did their job yesterday. That was awesome. And then also our coverage units has really been outstanding outside of that one from yesterday. They've really been outstanding when it came to coverage. And now how do we get some of our return game going? We got a little bit going yesterday with the kickoff return. And then hopefully Agnew coming back yesterday will spark some of the punt return things for us and we can get some of those stops. So you always want to keep improving and keep going. But really you just build off your natural things that you have and what your identity looks like and making sure it's coming out on tape.
You mentioned special teams. I mean, how is the change in this kickoff rule affected? Just your day-to-day type of thing when it comes to special teams.
It's a big deal.
A rise in block punts and kicks and everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's impacted games in a big way. How has it affected you and this team?
It has been a winning edge for us, since I've been here. When we just talking about blocking punts, I can think about, Red, blocking 2 versus Vegas last year. I can think about Zach blocking 1 versus Carolina or whatever they called it, a muff, whatever. I don't know how you term that when it goes on the side. But when Zach really affected that stuff, and we were able to do a lot of really good things. We scored a touchdown on special teams last year, a couple of touchdowns, whatever the case may be. So we've really been able to affect it. The kickoff rule has really affected everything. Right now, the knuckleball's in play, and we fielded them really good yesterday. And they didn't let it hit the ground, and all those things are consistent. And across the league, when you go back and you study other people, you see the problems that it's given everybody. So it's really been a big part of the game, which was the goal, right, of the kickoff rule coming back. It brought the play back into the game. It's creating a lot of fan excitement, I think. It's given coaches a little anxiety, to be honest, but it has definitely brought the fun part of the game back.
Coach, how's Kyle Pitts played for you over the first 4 games, and my follow-up will be that third down catch there.
He has been extremely impressive. I mean, it's kind of what we saw in the offseason, and nobody really wanted to believe it, and I was kind of hesitant to even talk about it because you just wanted to let him go do it, right? And then he was able to go out in the first couple of weeks of the season and absolutely play really well. I mean, it is not just him catching the football. It was him blocking. Watch him lead up on a couple plays yesterday and block some of our runs and work combinations with tackles and do some of the different things that he was able to do and get excited about it was really fun to watch. And he's really fun to watch go out there and play. I think he had 5 targets for 5 completions. And there was some big-time targets, particularly the one you're going to ask me about here in a minute. And a third down catch on man-to-man coverage, and you got to go out there and win. And you get great placement by the quarterback. And it's like those guys have been doing it for a long time together. Was nice, and that leads us back into talking about their golfing stories about from the summer, right? So I thought that was a really unique thing, a really cool thing for those guys to go out there and get accomplished.
He said he liked the call, and he said he knew he was gonna probably get held. He just knew he had to play through that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what Zach said over the sets. He said probably gonna get man here. Look at Kyle and take a look at him, and he won. Kyle won big time, and kind of, man-to-man on Kyle, when we talk about in our meetings, it's like, good luck to you, whoever you are. That's a big part of our installs.
Do you have a particular protocol for the rookies during the bye, since, they're coming off of what's been a very busy offseason, they haven't had a break in a while?
Yeah, you got to get some time away, obviously, and then these guys, they'll come in, they'll get a run. And then we're always going to meet. I always have those guys meet with our performance team to find out a rhythm and routine, right? And just like I talked to them today in team meeting, I said, hey, make sure you get with all of the guys. Don't want to guess what bye week should look like. Get a feel for what it should look like. How many times I should run? What should I do? Get a lift in. Definitely have some time to get away and be with your family and do some things for yourself, obviously. Obviously clean up some things, whatever it is that you want to do in your personal life. But you want to have a plan going into it, and that's what we're doing today and tomorrow with those guys being able to come in and talk with our performance teams in particular about what to do, because the football life for these guys is pretty, mapped out, right? When we're in a building on a regular week, a work week, it is what it is. Normal D&D goes in, get back on track, third down, red zone, boom, you go play the game, right? Situational ball, all those things, and then when you have a little bit of time off, what do I do now? So want to give them some guidance and some leadership that way as far as the guys that want to get out of here and find out what they need to do.
We know how you feel about Bijan Robinson as a player and as a person. Have you ever been, it feels like every game he does something that you go like.
I saw the backwards stuff you're talking about. I was so confused last night. What are you talking about? You talking about when he was running backwards from the 10-yard line, it felt like? When he got spun around?
Ran like 6 yards.
I probably didn't see it I didn't see it on the grass, but I was like, this is what Mark was talking about last night. He had me so confused.
I'm glad you're thinking about me.
I was. I absolutely thought about you when I got a chance to watch it on tape. I was like, I didn't notice that, Mark. Sharp Eye Washington over here.
My question would be have you ever been around an offensive player who has been like that, who's been able to just do things almost every game that you go okay, that's just absurd?
This league's got a bunch of special people in it, and I've been coaching for a while, so I've seen a lot of really good football players. Most recently, the year Cooper Kupp had Triple Crown winning that year was just absurd to watch in person. Then we got Odell, and he came and was able to give us some really good things. That was most recent. Before that, being around, some of those Washington teams when Robert Griffin got rolling that year was special. And even here in Atlanta with Julio, so I've seen some really talented players, but Bijan is right up there, if not at the top, with wow moments. His ability to make you miss, his ability to cut, his ability to go vertical fast. Other than getting caught yesterday, he's the slowest guy on our team. His ability to do all those special things those are for sure wow moments. Every time you get a chance to turn the tape on or you're at the game live watching him, and that was impressive. Him backpedaling for about 10 yards to get more yards.
I've been looking for dirt on him. Any dirt I can find.
Any dirt, good luck, man.
Kyle says his music taste is pretty bad.
He's actually got great music taste.
We got complete.
So Kyle probably just doesn't appreciate his ability to be versatile.
I know we're going to.
No, man, I'm just telling you, man.
I got.
His music taste is awesome. He's come by the house and he's put me on to smooth music before. He actually has some old school rap. He has some. He's got a bunch of different platforms and levels he can go. He can read the room really well and play what we need to hear. He's actually outstanding when it comes to that. So, like, yeah, good luck with the dirt, man.
Any bad habits? I mean, does he?
I don't know. He said he stopped eating junk food, so.
So that was it? That was the last one?
I got to ask him, man, like, but he strives to be the very best version of himself every single day. He's like, I feel like I'm making him a worse person just being around him. I'm like, man, I'm going to get away from you, B.
It feels like he's on the cusp of becoming like one of the faces of the entire league. Even when you go to the ATL airport, like he's on the he's on some ad there. He's on billboards now. Like,
He should be.
yeah.
And if our team can go out and do what they're capable of doing, he will be. And rightfully so. He's got a lot of great qualities as a human and special qualities as a player.
There have been a lot of blocked field goals also this year where, like, we've been talking about the kickoff so much, but has something switched in that regard too? None have happened in any of the Falcons games, but just looking at the league, is that something you brought to Marquise's attention? Like, hey.
Marquise brings it to my attention as well. Terrence, it's funny you bring that up. I showed the one last week the couple last week that, game-winning field goals because of situational awareness. And they're like, obviously our guys upstairs and they're watching it. We watch it on situational days and some of the things that are happening with the double teams on the guards and how they're able to knock those guys over and find spots. And that's illegal now. What Led just did the pull, but people are still trying to find ways to pull and shoot. It's definitely gone up. And, special teams coaches, man, they sit in those rooms and those offices and try to find ways to affect the game, and they have. They definitely have.
When you have such an early bye week and you have so many young players just as key contributors here on this defense, how do you make sure that you don't, and not just for them, but for everybody,
Sure.
How do you prevent burnout in the second half of the season?
In the second half of the season?
Well, just with the fact that post-bye week.
I just think, post-bye week, you got the mini-bye coming up too with the Thursday night game. We'll have a bunch of different breaks in the schedule that are funky for us coming up that we know about, the Berlin trip, things of that nature. But, our guys, you can't get tired of the mundane. You got to get used to it in this league. And you got to find ways to enjoy it. You got to, Rob Marinelli's always tells you got to find ways to enjoy being miserable. And I think it's part of my job to help these guys find some enjoyment in these miserable moments, like sitting here talking to you guys, right? It's like let's enjoy these moments. Let's go out and let's enjoy all these things. Let's relish them. Let's be very thankful that we're in a position to go out and win football games for this great city and play the game.
Is it tough to have the bye after such a confirming win where, like, yes, it helps?
It's not tough for me. That's great.
Oh, we kind of just want to keep this momentum going and play again already.
We'll get it back. But it's nice to get a win going to the bye. It definitely makes it way more enjoyable. And then you do look forward to coming back. And it will get a little itchy towards the end of next week and be ready to go. And then we come back to play a primetime game on Monday night.
Yeah, how did Coach Zach feel coming out of that one? We won't get to talk to him 10 days later.
Good. He felt
35 yards. He had all the noise about pistol and all that last week. And
we tried not to listen to that stuff. We can't help it. Because
he brought it up to me, so he was listening.
Well, he didn't listen. Actually, somebody told it to him, and it's like, come on. But it's our offense has been our offense since Zach's been here, right? We run it out of pistol, right? And we do a lot of really good things out of pistol. We ran for a bunch of yards last year. We ran for a bunch of yards this year. We've been able to throw the ball out of it. We've been really effective on some of those things. So there's going to be pluses and minuses on everything you do. We just got to get really good at what we do, and I think we kind of pride ourselves in doing that. Zach felt great, being on the field, being closer to Mike, being able to go around and be a part of everybody on the offense and really be in the action. He said he liked everything about it. He's a little pissed that he didn't start down there at the beginning of the season. And I think if he had his druthers over again, he'd start down at the beginning of the season and be able to go do some of those things. I think the criticism when you lose is, like I said last week, pile on. It's well-deserved, we got our butts kicked. But when we play well, we never had a problem with yards. We had to get in the end zone, right? If we get in the end zone in the season, as much as we've been able to move it down there, that we wouldn't be having a different conversation, right? So we wanted to get better in the red zone, and we did yesterday.
And what's your system in place for when his name gets mentioned as a possible Oklahoma State candidate, in the middle of y'all season?
Again, it doesn't. Look, I want my guys to go be head coach. I think I said that at my opening press conference.
Yeah.
Right? We want to have the ability to go out here and make people want our guys and want our people. And I think that is something that's awesome for him, something that's awesome for his family. But we live in that world, and we embrace distractions instead of trying to duck those things. And like, I don't know if he's been contacted by anybody from Oklahoma State, but we heard the rumors, and like, that's great for him. I was fortunate enough to be a part of those rumors when I was assistant for those years, and like, those are all really good moments for us in this profession, and it's something great for you to talk about, Led.
When it comes to, I mean, Storm's obviously not back yet, but I mean, you're hitting the bye week and everything else, and it's going to be a conversation here in the coming weeks. Just the play of Elijah versus Storm coming back, is it going to be a competition, or is Elijah kind of locked down that position?
He's always competitive. You know, Elijah played his best game yesterday, probably as a Falcon. And you never want to say that you're not going to be competitive that way, but like, he's playing well right now. And we got to see when Storm is able to come back, how quickly you can get him back involved and get him into the mix. But like, like, it's a long season, man, and everybody's going to be a significant contributor at some point. So I'm just glad I got him. I'm glad Elijah's been able to play well. It's been great.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
All right.
All right, guys.